I'm Dave Froehlich. Thanks for watching this CrimeWatch digital exclusive, where we take a look back at recent crime stories that have been making headlines in our area and across the state. A missing Travis County woman has been found alive and is on her way home. Brena Swindell was located with her ex-boyfriend Morgan Guidry. They were far from Texas, stopped by police in Oregon. Fox 7 Austin's Rudy Koski has the update.
Officials with the Travis County Sheriff's Office did not say when Morgan Guidry will be brought back and booked into the county jail, but we do know Brena Swindell is already in the process of flying back home to family. The small town of Klamath Falls in southwest Oregon is where the search came to an end. The town is not far from Crater Lake Park, a popular tourist destination. It's unclear if this was intended to be the final stop for Brena Swindell and Morgan Guidry, but early Tuesday morning, it was. The couple was pulled over by a local police officer, according to Captain Rob Reynolds, who spoke to me by phone.
They talked to her, and it sounded like that they were just on their way up here looking for a place to be. I'm not sure exactly what that meant, but during that time, it seems like she was here on her own accord.
A license plate reader like this one tagged Brena's car as it entered into town. An alert about the couple was in a national database.
A lot of red flags for me, thinking, well, I wonder if she was kidnapped.
She made no outcry for help, saying I'm being held.
No.
Morgan Guidry was wanted on a domestic violence charge. According to court documents, he attacked Brena at their apartment in July, allegedly choking her and threatening to shoot her. Morgan was held on the warrant, but the Austin incident was enough to convince Reynolds to press Brena for more answers before allowing her release.
So I heard that at first, and I'm like, that doesn't sound right to me. The officers followed up on those questions, and she said no, she was there on her own accord. He never took her against her will and that kind of thing.
Did the officer say he found any weapons in the vehicle or anything like that, or is it just luggage?
According to the brief that I got from the sergeant, he had no mention of weapons.
On social media, the end of the search was posted by Brena's father, Greg Swindell, who is a former Longhorn and Major League Baseball pitcher. Over the weekend, the family called out for help after notes were found, supposedly written and left by Morgan. The note said, "I went back to spend one last night with her and off to travel the world. Morgan plus Brena, see you on the other side." This bar in Spicewood is where Brena was seen with Guidry August the 22nd, 2 days after she told investigators she wanted to press charges against him. The last contact authorities in Oregon had with Brena was as she called her mom to make arrangements for a plane out of Medford. The plan for her was to drive to the airport. Captain Reynolds told me that the license plate reader that ended this search had just recently been installed in their town a few months ago. I'm Rudy Koski, Fox 7 Austin News.
Police have a person of interest in a downtown Austin murder. Around 1:30 in the morning on August 26th, officers out on 6th Street on horseback were flagged down. Police say a woman now identified as Shannon Smith was injured in an alley off 6th Street. Smith was taken to the hospital where she later died. Officers identified Gregory Watkins as a suspect. He was interviewed, then released. According to police, Watkins, who's in a wheelchair, told them Smith had a knife and tried to rob him of money and crack. Police say Watkins admitted to hitting Smith with a metal rod. So far, no charges have been filed against him. The man accused of shooting a shooting rampage back in December appeared in a Travis County court for the first time recently. Shane James Jr. asked the judge if he could represent himself after a disagreement with his attorneys. Fox 7 Austin's Meredith Aldis has the latest on the case.
Looking significantly different than his mugshot from 8 months ago, Shane James Jr. appeared in court Friday for the first time.
I want to represent myself.
James says his attorneys, Micah Watson and Russell Hunt Jr., are doing things without his consent.
I asked them to work with me and through me. They would show me first what they were doing, and they said no.
In terms of making decisions about what experts are going to be hired, what witnesses are interviewed, what records are interviewed, interacting with prosecutors, that's all stuff the lawyers do, and the lawyers don't need to get clearance from their clients to approach the case in that way.
Hunt says they requested James receive a mental competency check, and he's refused.
They said I thought it was unnecessary, it's unfounded, it's baseless. There's no reason
cases where a person may be mentally incompetent, it's not at all unusual for that person not to believe that they're mentally incompetent, not to believe that they need any kind of psychiatric help. That's not unusual.
Judge Clifford Brown told James if he wanted to represent himself, he'd have to have a competency evaluation regardless.
I'm going to suggest to you is that you work through your attorneys and you speak with the expert psychologists that they have retained. And we can address that in the future.
James currently faces 4 capital murder charges, 2 attempted capital murder charges, and 1 count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon in Travis County, and 2 capital murder charges and 3 family violence misdemeanors in Bexar County. Police say James killed his parents in San Antonio before driving to Austin and killing 4 more people and injuring 2 police officers and a cyclist in December.
He's in jail. He's charged with terrible crimes. He does have a history of psychiatric disturbances. The guy's in a terrible spot, and he's trying to do what he can to control his situation.
If James is found incompetent, this case could be delayed for years until he receives treatment in the state hospital. Meredith Aldis, Fox 7 Austin News.
An Austin Uber driver is facing a sexual assault charge after a passenger said he touched her inappropriately. Police arrested 38-year-old Victor Friehlich for an incident that happened back in May. According to arrest paperwork on May 4th, the victim had requested an Uber to take her to a friend's apartment in central Austin. The victim told investigators she'd been drinking that night, fell asleep in the Uber, and woke up to him sexually assaulting her. She managed to get out of the vehicle and call for help. The victim told police he didn't leave the area until the friend she was visiting saw him and tried to confront him. Police say Friehlich gave them several different accounts of the evening, including saying he thought the victim was, quote, flirting with him. He's been charged with second-degree sexual assault and is currently out on bond. The family of Anita Bynington, a 21-year-old woman who was killed in Austin back in 1991, is speaking out. Her convicted killer, Alan Andre Causey, is fighting for his innocence and claims the police and prosecutors got it wrong 30 years ago. Fox 7 Austin's Angela Shin has more.
This is the spot where Anita Byington was beaten to death on August 11, 1991. August 26th would be her 55th birthday. Her cousin Christina came to pay her respects.
She had a future ahead of her. She was in college. She was funny. She was animated. She was beautiful. And she lost everything. Everything she would have become.
Alan Andre Causey was convicted for her murder in 1992. He's been working to clear his name.
I think he is so pleased to be back in court and able to finally prove what his trial lawyer desperately tried to prove at trial, which is that his confession was false and that he was not the perpetrator of this horrible crime.
His attorneys at the Innocence Project say in his trial, evidence was withheld and there was false testimony. A district judge agreed with some of their points, but ruled there was not enough evidence for an actual innocence finding. Now the case goes to the Court of Criminal Appeals.
She found that, basically he got a completely unfair trial, that police officers got on the stand and perjured themselves. There was exculpatory evidence that should have been disclosed to his trial attorneys. We are a little bit disappointed that she evidently found that there was not quite enough evidence to reach that 4th point. But, hopefully the Court of Criminal Appeals will revisit that.
Christina disagrees with Causey's claim, and she believes he is still guilty.
We're hoping that they will look at all the evidence and rule against Causey and uphold the conviction so that justice is served.
Court filings point to another possible suspect, Kevin Harris, who was last seen with Anita on the night of her death. The judge's ruling reads, while the newly discovered evidence inculpates Kevin Harris, it does not constitute affirmative evidence of applicant's innocence. But Christina, frustrated with the opening of the case, and claims the DA's office didn't communicate with her.
This whole process it feels like if the murder happened again. Going through these hearings and everything, it's a traumatization, and the DA's office has not made it any easier at all. They've made it more difficult.
A Liberty Hill homeowner's camera captured an attempted break-in by a suspect with a machete. Here's more from Fox 7 Austin's Angela Shen.
In video from Wednesday around 5 p.m., you see a man with a machete and a dog approaching a home in Liberty Hill near Bear Creek. He appears to pass out. This is when homeowner Daryl Stevens was looking at the backyard with a contractor, and they noticed the man.
At that moment, I obviously freaked out. I have 2 young children here in the house and just went into like complete fight or flight mode.
The man gets up, comes up the stairs, pulls on the door.
Start running through the house. I lock every door as fast as possible, run upstairs. Luckily, I had a firearm here. So I grabbed my 9mm, unlocked it, ran down as fast as possible.
The suspect climbed the fence and was on the upper deck.
Told him he's got to leave or he's going to lose his life, and luckily after I did that, he dropped the machete.
On video, you can see the intruder climbing back down and a gun pointing at him as he walks away.
I just had to protect my family, and that's what I did, and luckily I didn't have to discharge my firearm.
Stephen's wife had called 911 in the meantime, and deputies arrested 43-year-old Jerry Escamilla. He is charged with criminal trespassing and failure to identify.
It's just not something you expect to happen in Liberty Hill, in the country. We're way out in the country. We're in the very back of this new, nice neighborhood, and you're just like, we moved out here. We moved further out of the city to feel safe.
In Texas, a homeowner has the right to use deadly force to defend themselves under the Stand Your Ground law.
If someone is trying to unlawfully enter and is being forceful, you have a right to use deadly force to protect your home, your car, and your place of employment in those situations. And you don't have to retreat. You have a right to defend yourself.
Stevens and his family still shaken up and plan to up security.
We feel violated. Like as a family, like we feel like our sense of safety and our safe place, which is our house, has been taken from us. And yeah, I almost get a little emotional even saying that. It's not fair.
13-year-old is dead. 2 other teens are under arrest following a shootout in East Austin. On August 22nd, Jeremiah Cavazos was shot and killed near a home on Thurgood Avenue by Highway 183. Police say the shooting started after Cavazos and an accomplice attempted to rob another teen. The robbery victim shot at both Cavazos and his accomplice, causing the 2 to attempt to get away in a stolen vehicle. Police say during the getaway attempt, Cavazos was thrown from the vehicle's back seat to the pavement. He eventually died. For his involvement, Cavazos' accomplice has been charged with capital murder. The robbery victim, who ran off before police got there, is facing a first-degree murder charge. A Cedar Creek family wants answers about who killed their loved one. A little more than a year ago, Walter Ratcliffe Jr. was run over and robbed in Bastrop. Fox 7 Austin's Meredith Aldis has that story.
Your heart stops.
When Texas DPS troopers knock on your door and say your son is dead.
We hurried up from here to Bastrop to see what was going on.
Walter Ratcliffe Jr. was found on Wallway Road off Highway 95 in Bastrop.
He was struck, robbed, and left for dead.
He says his son was walking to the store when he was hit by a car.
The money he had on him was taken. This is the only thing that I have left that was on this person.
Ratcliffe says whoever did it knew what they were doing.
They were desperate and they did what they had to do.
It's been a little over a year and the person or persons responsible haven't been caught yet.
We're looking for answers and we're hoping for them.
Texas DPS has filed a crash report. It states the investigation is incomplete and a supplement will be added upon gathering further information and evidence.
I feel that we're so close. I feel that they've got a lot of information. They just need that little bit more to close it up and make this happen. We've got to get these people off the street before they hurt somebody else.
If they can do it to him, they can do it to anybody. I mean, who's going to be next?
They say they want justice for Walter Ratcliffe Jr., known as Kinfolk, a singer and songwriter, and always made people laugh.
He was a real enjoyable guy, loved to have fun. I mean, a lot of the local businesses has his picture up. I'll never get my son back, but I need that closure tremendously. We need to move on. So,
if you have any information to help in this investigation, call Texas DPS. Meredith Aldis, Fox 7 Austin, Crime Watch.
Austin police are searching for a man accused of attempted sexual assault. It happened around 5 p.m. on July 21st on the Anna Roy Butler Trail near South Lakeshore Boulevard and South Pleasant Valley Road. We're told that suspect asked the victim what time it was in Spanish, then grabbed the victim and tried to sexually assault them. The suspect is described as about 6 feet tall with a heavy build and a dark complexion, brown eyes, and black hair. Last seen wearing a navy blue hat, navy blue shirt, and gym shorts. A Travis County judge is trying to keep a suspected serial killer behind bars forever. Ratcliffe Jr. was in court earlier in the week. The convicted murderer was released from prison and is now accused of killing 2 more people. Fox 7 Austin's Meredith Aldis has the latest.
The Travis County judge made it very clear to both sides. Any deal that includes the possibility of parole will not be accepted by her.
Mr. Meza is ready for this ordeal to be over, not just for himself, but for the whole community.
And Raul Mesa's defense attorney, Russell Hunt, says it may be over soon, but a new deal needs to be agreed upon. Tuesday morning, the defense presented a plea deal of life in prison for 1 murder and 20 years for another, meaning Mesa would be eligible for parole after 40 years. He'd be more than 100 years old. Travis County Judge Julie Kasurik pushed back and says she will not accept anything less than life without the possibility of parole.
It's clear the message she's giving is that she doesn't ever want there to be any question about whether Mr. Meza is ever released on parole.
When I heard that today, it was just like a big relief off my shoulders and everything. I wish this would have been done when he did this to my sister. Then all these families wouldn't be here today.
Tracy Page's sister, 8-year-old Kendra Page, was killed by Mesa in 1982. He was sentenced to 30 years but was released after just 11. Mesa is now charged with capital murder for the 2019 death of 65-year-old Gloria Lofton and murder for the 2023 death of 80-year-old Jesse Fraga.
He has expressed remorse to us to the extent that he can.
No. Not at all. He's never, ever had remorse.
When Mesa was brought into the courtroom and told his plea deal had fallen apart, he was seen glaring at the prosecutor. The judge eventually asking him to stop.
It appeared to me that his natural reaction was to stare at the prosecutors like, we thought this was a done deal, why have you screwed the deal up? But he didn't think about the fact there's a third player involved, and so he is not in an angry state or anything like that at this point. But I think his first reaction was, wait a minute, what's going on? We thought we had a deal.
It's a big deal for him to stare at somebody and not say anything, and so I think that shows the energy of how he wants to play this game of he thinks it's intimidating, so that's not.
He thinks he's dictating it.
Yeah.
To me, he's been dictating it all along.
Since 1975.
Mesa's attorney says they do not plan to go to trial, and as long as a deal is reached with all parties, this could be over within the next couple weeks. Reporting in downtown Austin, Meredith Aldis, Fox 7 Austin News.
An Austin Activity Center is dealing with a major setback after thieves stole thousands of dollars worth of bikes. Fox 7 Austin's Angela Shen has more.
The city's Parks and Rec department says 16 bikes similar to these were taken on Sunday morning. Now they're having to make adjustments to their youth biking program. It's a bump in the road for the Lorraine Grandma Camacho Activity Center. Run by Austin Parks and Recreation, they say Sunday morning someone broke in through a window, taking over a dozen bikes with a replacement value of $25,000.
It's hard, right? So especially a team who is really committed to just helping individuals learn to bike and be happy out on the trail.
The bikes are used for youth cycling programs like summer and spring break camps, Friday youth biking sessions, and more. The Camacho Center has been doing the program for more than 2 decades.
They work with at-risk youth, they work with a variety of kids, and they really do just make it so that kids feel empowered and enjoy biking as well.
The programs will continue, but there will be adjustments in schedule, like staggering different age groups. They also plan to up security.
We're working with our partners at Austin Parks Foundation to actually do a larger security audit and really work on making recommendations for how we can make not only our facilities but our programs and our just general parkland a secure, safe, welcoming space.
APD says they don't have suspect descriptions right now. Despite the setback, the Camacho Center will keep going to make sure everyone can still enjoy hitting the trails.
Ultimately, the good news is that we will be able to get them replaced, and that we're really just kind of focused on continuing programming and just ask people to go out and enjoy a bike ride and not let this get them down, because we've got great programming and lots of people out there enjoying bikes in the city.
And if you have any information or surveillance video related to this case, let APD know. In East Austin, Angela Shen, Fox 7 Austin News.
Maynard police are calling this a case of severe animal cruelty. One dog is dead, 8 others rescued from cages left outside in the extreme heat. Maynard police arrested one of the dog's owners, who already is bonded out of jail. Fox 7 Austin's Lauren Rangel has more.
8 Maynard dogs are now soaking in the AC at the Giddings shelter.
It was sad, it was a sad situation.
They were found by Maynard police locked in cages in a backyard when it was 104 degrees with a heat index of 108. Police say they had no food or water, and 2 were in sweaters. One neighbor telling police they had been in those sweaters since winter.
Our officers are animal lovers, and when you have to deal with that and you see animals that are in distress, and it's a sad situation.
A 9th dog died at a nearby animal hospital. The dog's owner, Aisha Young, is charged for leaving all 9 of them outside.
It's serious, but we took that situation and we tried to make it a situation where we could educate our public.
Maynard police are asking pet owners to bring man's best friend inside this summer, especially during the heat wave, and never leave them outside without shelter, food, or water.
It's not something that just should be taken lightly. You are their parent, you're their caregiver, and they depend on you to care for them. And so we just ask the public, if you are up for the responsibility of pet ownership, just make sure that you're doing it right and keeping our little fur babies safe.
Heat-related illness visits are not uncommon at Crystal Falls Emergency Animal Hospital in Leander.
A lot of these cases that we do see can be prevented. We've seen 71 cases as of to date so far related to heat stroke, heat exhaustion.
Chelsea Pierce is the medical director at the hospital. She says dogs will show heat exhaustion through excessive panting, red gums, agitation, and weak limbs. Most of the time, it's the heat index that's the most dangerous.
If you're going to go for walks early in the morning or late in the evening, however, if it's still pretty warm and we have a lot of humidity, just be reminded that that heat index is still going to be elevated.
5 people have been arrested in connection with Lockhart's first murder of the year. An unnamed juvenile is charged with murdering 20-year-old Carlos Sanchez. Additionally, 4 adults are facing charges of harboring a fugitive. The group was arrested at a home on East Market and Carver Street. The juvenile is accused of shooting Sanchez at a home near Rosewood and Trinity. He was taken to a hospital in Kyle, where he died that same day. Round Rock Police Department says it's busted 4 people connected to a series of burglaries across Austin and Hayes County. We're told officers intercepted the suspects driving on I-35 near Palm Valley. Once the vehicle came to a stop, 5 suspects tried to make a run for it. Police were able to arrest 4 of them, 3 of whom are underage. Inside the car, officers found a stolen gun from Austin. The vehicle itself was reported stolen out of Hayes County. 5th suspect in this investigation is still on the run. If you know where this person is, you're asked to please call Round Rock Police. Police are investigating a murder-suicide at Rice University. A female student was found dead inside her dorm room on the first day of the fall semester. Fox's Leslie Del Sabor has more from Houston.
The entire Rice campus is in shock. The Rice administrators have to calm the students and tell them they're safe. The parents have to fly in from out of state to retrieve their dead child.
A shocking discovery left Rice University at a standstill after junior Andrea Rodriguez Avila from Nottingham, Maryland, was found dead in her dorm at Jones Hall Monday by the hands of someone she was dating in what police are describing as a murder-suicide. His name has not yet been released, but the school says their relationship dates back to Avila's time in Maryland, something trauma therapist Chow Win says is common for a lot of young people.
There needs to be more talk about what is a good relationship, what is not what is bad relationship, what is healthy, what is not healthy, what is toxic, and sadly and ultimately what is dangerous.
Rice University released information Tuesday saying that Rodriguez Avila was studying political science on the pre-law track here, and she came to Rice from the Community College of Baltimore County. During her time at both the community college and Rice, she was active in multiple student and honor society organizations. Something Wynn says is sad to know a woman with such a bright future had it taken from her so fast, advocating for friends, classmates, and family to speak up if you know anyone who is in a domestic violence situation.
If you're a friend and you're listening and you see some unhealthy behaviors, call it out. Tell them that they have support, that they can get support. There's so many resources now to navigate relationships that, people don't have to do it alone. And unfortunately, in this case, she suffered. She's gone.
Finally, Cap Metro has launched its newly formed Transit Police Department to help with public safety. Officers were recently sworn in, including its first ever police chief. Fox 7 Austin's Tan Radford has more.
It's a historic moment that has been in the making for decades. Cap Metro welcomed 2 new police officers and a police chief with nearly 30 years of experience to its police force.
I believe that the 3 men that are taking this oath of office today will build a robust transit police team and will collaborate with the frontline staff and the other police safety or public safety teams.
A room filled with applause Monday.
If you'll please recite after me and raise your right hand. I, Eric Robbins.
Following the swearing in of Chief Eric Robbins, Assistant Chief Joseph Rose, and Captain Jeremy Benoit.
I am confident that our team of officers will help us create a more secure and safe, people-centric transit police department.
According to Cap Metro, the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement certified team of police officers are trained on crisis intervention, people-centric policing, and fair and impartial policing.
The decision to build a transit police department wasn't taken lightly. I think we might have studied it for somewhere close to 20 years before we finally did it.
In April of 2023, Austin police were called for a stabbing on a Cap Metro bus near North Lamar and West 5th Street. When officers arrived, they found a person with a stab wound. The suspect was located a few blocks away and taken to Travis County Jail. The newly formed police force was created to aid in these types of situations, according to Cap Metro.
We want to make sure that everybody feels safe when they're operating on the buses, whether it's a grandmother with her grandchildren, whether it's kids going to school, whether it's you or me.
The Cap Metro Board of Directors approved the creation of a transit police in August of 2021, and a T-Code certification was granted last month. The transit police team currently includes a chief, assistant chief, captain, and dispatchers.
My primary goal here is to make sure that we create a safe environment for our ridership as well as our community, and making sure that we keep them safe.
The new police chief says in the next phase, transit police will hire more officers. Reporting in downtown Austin, Tan Radford, Fox 7 Austin News.
Thanks for watching the Fox 7 Austin Crime Watch digital exclusive. Our Crime Watch stories run each Monday on Fox 7 Austin News at 9. If you miss them, you can watch anytime on our new Fox Local Connected TV app, which is free to download, and you can watch on multiple platforms like Roku and Apple TV. Just scroll down from the live player and look for the Crime Watch section. And for more on the stories highlighted in this episode, you can head to our website, fox7austin.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox 7 Austin YouTube channel.